Hey guys, hope you're all well. Right, little job on my own bike again. Oil change, oil in frame oil change. So it's a little bit different from a normal bike. So let's go through it from start to finish. First, we've got to start the bike up and get it up to temperature a little bit. Let's get that sorted. Let that run up for a bit, and also open shed door so you don't go for a long sleep. We'll let that get up to temp and then we'll turn it off. Okay, that's that up to temperature. So then, first we'll remove the plug in the frame. Careful we don't lose the O-ring. Obviously we'll check the O-ring. It looks okay. Right, now we've got to remove the engine drain bolt, which is here, and then we've got this little device that lives under the seat that we got basically just place under there like that, and everything should go into the bucket. Right, when that's drained off, I will go for the frame oil tank, which is down here. Obviously, careful I'm not going to take my skin off because the bike is now hot. With that, I'm going to cover the front wheel up as well because it's a bit of a squirter apparently. And also, I'm going to conduct a little experiment. So, a weird thing on this bike, well, I thought it was weird. The instruction book, manual, whatever you want to call it, requests for this cover to be removed. Which I thought was a bit weird. So, the other day, I went to our local Yamaha dealer to have a chat with their mechanic. Because I wanted to know why, and is it necessary? So I had a bit of a chat with their mechanic. This Yamaha dealer's been in our local town as long as I can remember. I've known them since I was a kid, since 1978 when I was going to fill my little YZ80 up with petrol and oil at their shop. Anyway, he said they don't bother. So I'm sort of going to go with that, but I am going to loosen it. I'm going to try and do it without damaging any gaskets or anything like that. The reason being, I'm going to let all the oil drain out, and I am going to crack that to see if it does release any more oil, with there being a vacuum airlock or something like that, because I believe that's the reason why they ask you to remove it. But a Yamaha mechanic says it's not necessary, they don't do it. But I'm going to do it out of curiosity to see if it does release any more oil. Anyway, as soon as that stopped dripping, I'll empty the frame. Okay then, towel over the front tyre, bucket in place, and also I've got a funnel just in case she's a squirter. I don't know. Is it going to be, or are we just going to have a dribble? Oh yeah. As you can see, that would have ended up all over your tyre. I'm going to stand here now until she's finished. all over the crash bar. Not bothered about that, that'll clean up. I did have a little bit of a spillage, look. That's also why the towel's there, to allow for my clumsiness. Right, next one is the drain on the oil filter housing, which is the bottom bolt. Make sure we got that under there. There we go. We've also got a bleed screw at the top here that we've got to sort out when we've filled it back up. Right then, while that's bleeding out, I reckon that's a good time for a cup of tea. I must say, as soon as I undone the bolt on the oil filter housing, this has started pouring again. So definitely, when everything's stopped, I am going to release that cam cover to see if it does release anymore, just out of curiosity. I know the Yamaha mechanic says they don't bother, but I'm going to do it as a bit of a test, see what happens. Right, just having a bit of 1040 coated chicken. I'm just looking at the amount of oil that's come out of this thing. It looks a hell of a lot to me. So they're supposed to have 2.9 litres. That looks more than that. I'm not sure what litre that bucket is, because it's just hand wipes, so it doesn't really say on the side. That looks a lot of oil, that does. And we've got that one there. I'm going to measure that out when it's done leaking. It looks a lot. Okay then, just for a little test, the oil stopped coming out all the other holes in the bike, so I'm going to crack this like it does say in the manual, but told by the Yamaha mechanic it's not really necessary. But I'm going to do it out of curiosity. I'm not going to remove it. I'm just going to try and crack it back a bit to see what happens. Right. So it's a big O-ring in there. I can just see it down there. I've got it released. There's no extra oil coming out of anything. So I'm guessing Mr. Yamaha mechanic was right. But I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see what it done. And yeah, all good. Right, next bit. Right, I've just cracked the oil filter housing, and it's decided to bleed a little bit more. So yeah, I've just got to get my patient head on and let it empty itself out, and then we'll crack on with the rest of it. Getting all the drain plugs back in now, just making sure all the surfaces are clean, and I am replacing that drain plug because yeah, a little bit messy. A nice stainless one now, and a copper washer. That should look a bit better. Right, now the oil filter. Got some clean oil in here. I'm going to give it a bit of a roll round in that. Bit of a messy job. Pour a bit in there. And get it in. Obviously causing a mess. Get that back on. O-ring's all good. just measured these bolts as well, so I'm gonna slowly replace all these with stainless ones so they're all nice and clean. Right, I'll just spend half a day looking for where I've put the Allen key, then I'll tighten that up. Where's that gone? There we are. That's that sorted. Right, now the engine plug. Got a new aluminium washer for this. Just got to try and get the old one off. It's well and truly compressed on there, so I can get it off. Oh, got it off without cutting my armour. We're all good. Yeah, that's not very good. New one on. Remove my little oil scoop and make sure it's all clean. There we are. Get that nipped up and then we can start topping up. Right, now, what's that dog doing now? What are you in search of, Blue? Hey? What could you possibly want? I know what, he can smell that chicken bone. You can't have that, mate. No. Definitely you can't have it, because you know what he'll do, his usual trick and try and swallow it whole. And obviously chicken bones are no good. Right, little setup, because can't get my words out now. The filler cap is in a very awkward place down there, and if you've like me and trap your bike in a front wheel chock on your bench, I've got this bit of a setup. Don't worry, that is clean. It's just old. So I've got my little funnel there and a bit of rubber hose off the funnel straight into the frame, and all held in with me hand guards. Right, what we've got to do now is put 1.9 litres of oil in that, and then fire the bike up, give it a few revs, not too mad, to pump that oil through, and then we put the remainder of the oil in. What do you reckon, mate? We're going good? You've been snooping around somewhere, or you got oil on your head. Hey? Oh, you've always got your nose into something. Right, 1 litre measured out to start with. This is just going to be a slow process because it takes a little while to get through that tube. So, patience. Look at him. What are you doing? You're not having the chicken bone. He's going to give it a go. Right. I shall get on with the first 1.9 litres and then fire the bike up. That's probably going to take about 3 days to go down there, but he'll get there. Look at him. He's discovered the chicken bones in that rubbish bag. We're going to have to go and take that to the big bin, aren't we? Because you're going to try and have that off there. I know he is, because that's what Blue does. He'll wait till you've gone out the shed or turned your back, and that bag will be on the floor, emptied. You're not having chicken bones, mate. Nah, as much as you'd like them. I know you'd like them, but I don't fancy a trip to the vets with you because you try to inhale them whole. No. Right, the last bit of oil's just gone in there. That means cup of tea time while that drains down, and then we'll fire the bike up. Right then. Let's move that out of the way a little bit. And then we've got to fire the bike up. And basically just carefully rev it half a dozen times. I like to let it sit idle for a few seconds first before I get into revving it. Obviously checking for leaks as well. Don't knock the kill switch. I wonder what the noise was. It's the oil gurgling coming out of here. Glug glug glug. That'll do. Right, get the rest of the oil in there. I'm not getting into the mass internet oil debate. I've just got 1040 YAMAHA lube, because you know what the discussions can get like on the internet about oil. It's like discussing what your favourite meal is. Just use what's recommended, that's all I'll say. Some people will probably choose a different make. I don't know. Mobile, Motul, whatever. I'll just obviously get this from a local Yamaha dealer. Right, I'll get the rest of it in now, and then we'll check oil pressure. Next then, oil cap back on, and then we've just got to loosen that. As you can see, I've already loosened it. And then start the bike up. If you're religious, pray. If not, cross your fingers that we get a show of oil out of this. We've got to give it a minute, basically. There we go, we've got a show of oil. That's good. Sorted. Right, we've had the bike running again for a little while. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, and then we're going to check the oil level again on the dipstick. Let's pop that off again. Get my big fat fingers in there. So to check the oil on these things, you haven't got to screw that back in. Just drop it in up to the threads. I'm happy with that. Job done. Get that screw back in now. Double check that you've got your O-ring on there. Yep. It's easy for that to fall off without you realising. That's it. Right, next I'm going to quickly do the air filter, and then I'm going to measure that oil out that's come out of the bike. I could be wrong, but it looks far too much. But just out of curiosity, I'm going to measure it out and see what we've took out. First, air filter. Right, seat off for this job, and then this panel. Look at this. Someone's got the right idea. It's a hard life. Right, let's get this panel off. Right. I seem to have a dog appearing from between my legs. Well, that looks like a strange birth, Blue. Hey? You come to help? Oh, you're waiting for this old air filter to chew up. You're not having it. Let's see what state this air filter's in. Like I say, I have no service history on this bike. Everything seems to be okay, but I very much doubt if it's been serviced regular. I just got that feeling. Who knows? Little bit black. Anyway, new one. Right, what I'm going to do, personal choice, is drop a little bit of oil around that sponge. Just so it slides in easy, so I don't tear it. You have to use very, very special dinosaur oil on these, or else it won't work. Or just use anything that you've got to hand. I'll say I'm only putting a little bit. I ain't absolutely smothering it, just a little rub round. Like I say, I'm only doing it so I don't tear the sponge as we slide it in. That's it. That's all nice and clean in there, by the way. No debris, nothing. It is actually spotless in the box. Right, get this back together, and then we're going to measure that oil out. Okay, we're all sorted. Air filter done, bike back together, everything cleaned off, bench cleaned off. And I'll just leave the bike sitting there just for a little while to see if I can see any oil drips appearing. Hopefully I won't. Anyway, so how much oil did we get out of this thing? I've measured it all out, and yeah, it wasn't the correct amount. I thought it looked a lot. So I filled these back up, and we got that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 litres, but these are overfilled. So there's over a litre in these, and there's still a bit in the bucket. 4 1/4 litres came out of this bike. That's not including the little bit I spilt. Yeah, 4.25 litres. Total capacity of this bike is 2.9. Yeah, so someone's got a bit carried away at some point. I'm guessing it's just somebody who hasn't gone through the correct procedure to top the oil up in this bike. And also they may have screwed the oil filler cap in instead of just resting it into the oil as well. That ain't a massive amount of difference, but it'll still give you a wrong reading. Yeah, I'm glad I've done that. Because overfilling can also be bad. So now it's all done and dusted and correct. So yeah, 4.25 litres of oil in a 2.9 litre bike. Never mind, it's all sorted now and it's ready to go. I'm going to drag this off the bench now. I'll say I'm just sitting there just to make sure I've got no drips anywhere. It's all looking good, but drag this off the bench now and get the RM straight back on. There is a couple of more things I'm doing to this. You might get the RM video next, or you might get another little one on this. We'll see how it goes. There's plenty to do. I have got absolutely tons and tons of work on. Late nights, long days, so there should be a few videos coming up, whatever order I put them out on. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to keep ploughing on. Anyway, that'll do. Cheers for watching, guys. Take care.